History is a vast and often murky river. Its currents carry tales of empires, kings, and saints, but sometimes the tributaries of smaller yet significant communities run dry and are forgotten. In the heartland of Bihar, a land rich with ancient stories and layered pasts, resides one such community, the Mallicks. Today they are often seen as just another group in the complex social fabric of the region. However, hidden beneath the surface of their present identity is a legacy of profound historical importance. This is the story of a people whose roots stretch back to a noble Sayyid lineage, a heritage that has been veiled by the passage of time and the shifting sands of social perception, waiting to be rediscovered and understood in its full glory. The narrative of the Mallick community is not one of simple origins, but a complex tapestry woven with threads of spiritual leadership, military conquest, and royal honor. To understand them is to delve into a past where a name was not merely a label, but a reflection of one's ancestry and role in society. For generations, the Mallicks of Bihar have carried a name that, while respected, has obscured their deeper connection to the Sadats, the direct descendants of the Prophet. This forgotten link is the key to unlocking their true historical significance. Their story is a powerful reminder that history is not always what it seems, and that entire communities can carry the echoes of a grand past, even when the memory has faded into a faint whisper among the old. Unraveling this history requires us to journey back through the centuries, to a time when the subcontinent was a mosaic of powerful sultanates and spiritual movements. It is in this era that we find the progenitor of the Bihari Mallicks, a figure who was both a holy man and a formidable general. His life and actions set in motion a chain of events that would shape the destiny of his descendants for centuries to come. The journey of the Mallick community from being recognized as Sayyids to being known primarily by their honorific title is a fascinating tale of social and historical transformation. It speaks volumes about how identities are formed, lost, and sometimes, with effort, reclaimed from the annals of forgotten history. This exploration is more than just an academic exercise. It is an act of restoration. It seeks to bring to light the forgotten contributions and the noble lineage of a people who have played a vital role in the history of Bihar. By piecing together fragments from old texts, historical accounts, and oral traditions, we can reconstruct a more complete picture of the Mallick community. We can see them not as an unknown group, as some historical accounts have mistakenly suggested, but as the inheritors of a remarkable legacy. This is a story that deserves to be told, not just for the sake of historical accuracy, but to restore a sense of pride and recognition to a community whose past is as rich as the soil of Bihar itself. The story of the Mallick community of Bihar begins in the 14th century with a remarkable individual named Hazrat Syed Muhammad Ibrahim. He was not just a man of deep spiritual learning, a Sufi saint whose wisdom attracted many followers, but also a skilled military commander. He arrived in Bihar during a period of political turmoil, tasked by the Sultan of Delhi to bring order to the region. As a Sayyid, he carried the esteemed lineage of a direct descendant of the Prophet, a status that commanded immense respect. His successful military campaign resulted in the conquest of Bihar, establishing him as a powerful figure who held both spiritual and temporal authority over the land he now governed. In recognition of his extraordinary service and his new status as the ruler of the province, the Sultan bestowed upon him a prestigious title, Mallick. In the context of the Delhi Sultanate, this was not a common surname but a high-ranking honorific, meaning king or lord. It signified his position as a preeminent noble and the de facto sovereign of the region. Syed Muhammad Ibrahim, now known as Syed Ibrahim Mallick Baya, became the patriarch of a new ruling dynasty. His descendants, who inherited his lands and his influence, naturally came to be identified by this powerful and distinctive title. The name Mallick became a symbol of their royal and administrative legacy in Bihar. The adoption of Mallick as a family name was a gradual process, but it had profound implications for the community's identity over the long term. Initially, the title coexisted with their Sayyid lineage, a dual identity that reflected their saintly origins and their aristocratic status. However, as generations passed, the more immediate and public honorific, Mallick, began to overshadow the more ancient Sayyid designation in everyday use. The title was a constant reminder of their family's glorious conquest and their historical role as rulers and administrators of Bihar. In the social hierarchy of the time, being a Mallick was a clear and present sign of power and prestige, directly linked to the land and its governance. This transition is documented in various historical texts, such as the History of the Province of Bihar, Tari Malik Subaba Bihar, by Allama Malik Abdul Halim Khwaja Puri Ghiavi. These sources affirm that the Mallicks are not a separate ethnic group, but are indeed Sayyids who adopted a royal title. The historical work Biharistan-e-Sukna also notes that the elders of the Mallick community were people of immense power and wealth during the royal era. The name Mallick thus became a testament to their worldly success and their ancestors' foundational role in the region, even as it slowly veiled the spiritual lineage from which they had originally sprung. The passage of centuries inevitably brings change, and for the Mallick community, it brought a slow and steady erosion of their historical memory. The very title that once signified their noble status, Mallick, ironically became the instrument of their historical obscuration. As the power of the Delhi Sultanate waned and new empires rose and fell, the original context of the title was lost to the general populace. What was once a royal honorific bestowed upon a Sayyid conqueror became, over time, simply a surname. Without the historical framework of the Sultanate era, people began to see Mallick and Sayyid as two distinct and separate identities, rather than two aspects of a single lineage. This process was accelerated by a lack of widespread historical education and the decline of the community's political fortunes. As their direct influence over the governance of Bihar diminished, so did the public association of their name with royalty and power. The stories of Syed Ibrahim Malik Bia and his conquest, once common knowledge, became tales confined to learned scholars and the elderly. For the younger generations, born into a world where their family was no longer in a position of overt authority, the connection to a glorious Sayyid and royal past grew more tenuous. Ignorance, as lamented by the historian Hazrat Imam Bihari, allowed the community to be perceived as unknown when their lineage was, in fact, among the most distinguished. Furthermore, the social dynamics of the subcontinent often prioritize rigid caste and community labels. In this environment, the nuanced history of the Mallicks was difficult to maintain. It was simpler for outsiders, and eventually for many within the community itself, to classify them solely as Mallicks, a group distinct from the Sadats. This simplification stripped away the rich backstory of their origins. The memory of being the eyes and mirrors of the Syed family, as one author passionately described them, faded from the collective consciousness. The community's identity became flattened, its deep historical roots buried under layers of social and political change, leaving many of its own members unaware of the noble bloodline they carried. The legacy of the Mallick community was preserved only in scholarly texts and the dedicated work of a few historians from within their own ranks, such as Allama Malik Abdul Halim Khwaja Puri Ghiavi. These individuals fought against the tide of forgetting, meticulously documenting the evidence of their Sayyid ancestry. They pointed to the lineage tracing back not just to Syed Ibrahim Malik Bia, but even further, to the revered Sufi saint Hazrat Gausi Azam. Despite these efforts, their works remained largely within academic circles. For the community at large, the grand narrative of their past had been misplaced, a forgotten inheritance waiting to be reclaimed by its rightful heirs. Today, as we stand in the year 2025, the story of the Mallick community of Bihar serves as a powerful call to action. It is a reminder that history is a living entity, one that requires constant nourishment through remembrance and education. The first step in honoring this forgotten legacy is to actively disseminate the knowledge of their true origins. The accounts of historians like Allama Malik Abdul Halim and the chronicles mentioning figures like Allama Qazi Muhibullah Bihari and Allama Mufti Syed Zafaruddin Bihari Fazil Bihari must be brought out of obscure books and into the light. Their stories need to be shared in simple, engaging language so that the younger generation of Mallicks can connect with the remarkable achievements of their ancestors. This revival of history is not about claiming superiority or creating social divisions. Instead, it is about restoring a sense of identity and pride that has been unjustly lost. Knowing that one descends from a line of saintly scholars, reformers, and just rulers can be a profound source of inspiration. It encourages a community to live up to the high ideals set by its forebears. By remembering the contributions of figures like Hafiz Bukhari, Allama Qadir Bakhsh Sahasrami, the community can find role models who embodied both spiritual piety and intellectual brilliance. Reclaiming this heritage is an act of cultural and spiritual preservation, ensuring that the sacrifices and accomplishments of the past continue to enrich the present. Educational initiatives, community gatherings, and digital archives can play a crucial role in this process of rediscovery. By creating accessible resources, the history of Syed Ibrahim Mallick Bia and his descendants can become a cornerstone of the community's identity once more. It is imperative to teach the youth why their ancestors adopted the title Mallick, and how it was a badge of honor, not a separation from their Sayyid roots. This understanding can help heal the fractures in historical memory and reunite the community with its foundational narrative, allowing them to confidently state their place in the grand tapestry of South Asian history. Ultimately, the legacy of the Mallick Sayyid nation is a testament to the fact that no history is ever truly lost, as long as there are those willing to seek it out and share it. It is a shared responsibility for historians to research, for community leaders to educate, and for individuals to listen and learn. By honoring the past, we do not simply look backward, we build a stronger foundation for the future. The forgotten glory of the Mallicks of Bihar is a treasure waiting to be unearthed. Let us commit to this work of remembrance, ensuring that this noble lineage is celebrated and its story is told for many generations to come.